Commissioner Gordon, Bane has escaped.
The world is loud, filled with those who talk endlessly, who boast without proof, who declare their intentions yet never act. Noise surrounds them, empty words, hollow threats, promises that dissolve into nothingness. It is a theater of illusions, where the weak scramble for attention, mistaking recognition for power. But those who truly hold power move in silence. Their presence is not announced, it is felt. Their actions do not seek validation, they command respect. Silence unsettles the insecure. It reminds them of their own inadequacy, their need to be seen, to be acknowledged, to be reassured that their existence holds weight. They seek applause for plans not yet executed, for battles not yet fought, for victories they have yet to earn. They believe that noise alone is enough to claim dominance. But the loudest voice in the room is rarely the most dangerous. Those who build in silence, who sharpen themselves in the shadows, who let their results speak instead of their mouths, those are the ones to fear. Power is not something declared. It is something undeniable. The ones who waste time talking do not understand this. They believe that perception alone is enough, that if the world believes they are strong, then they must be. But perception is a weak foundation. It crumbles beneath the weight of reality. And when the moment of reckoning comes, when the time to prove worth arrives, those who relied on noise alone are the first to fall. There is an art to moving unseen, to letting the work be the only announcement, to allowing silence to be more deafening than any words spoken. It's the path of those who do not need validation, who do not seek recognition before the war is won. There's no need to prove anything to those who doubt, no need to convince those who cannot see. The ones who matter will recognize power when it arrives. The rest are irrelevant. Attention is a cheap drug. It distracts from the real work, from the grind, from the slow, relentless process of becoming. Those who seek it too soon waste energy proving themselves to those who will never matter. But those who build in the quiet, who sharpen themselves in the dark, who focus on the work instead of the recognition, when they emerge, there is no need to speak. The weight of their presence alone is enough to silence the room. Weak men chase acknowledgement. They cry out for the world to notice them, to approve of them, to validate their journey. But those who are truly building do not care for the opinions of the blind. They do not need permission to succeed. They do not beg for respect. They take it. And by the time the world realizes what has happened, it is already too late. The battle has been won. The empire has been built. The throne has already been claimed. Mastery is never loud. It does not announce itself prematurely. It does not beg for recognition. It is refined in solitude, sharpened in silence, revealed only when the time is right. The great warriors do not telegraph their attacks. The most dangerous minds do not reveal their strategies. Power moves quietly, and by the time it is seen, its grip is already unbreakable. Patience is the weapon of those who do not need instant gratification. The work is done without praise, without celebration, without the need for outside approval. The foundation is laid brick by brick, while the world watches elsewhere, distracted by the noise of the impatient. And when the structure is finally revealed, when the results are undeniable, there is no longer a need for words. Success speaks in ways noise never could. The weak will never understand this. They will always believe that recognition is the goal, that visibility equates to power. But real power does not seek permission. It does not advertise its growth. It does not announce its plans. It moves unstoppable, unshaken, undistracted. And when the time comes when everything is in place, it does not argue, it does not justify itself, it simply arrives. Let the others talk. Let them seek applause for battles not yet fought. Let them waste time convincing the world they are destined for greatness. And while they do, focus, work, building. Make no noise until there is nothing left to prove. And when the moment comes, when the results are undeniable, when your presence alone makes the room go silent, then, and only then, will they finally understand. Success was always the only noise that ever mattered. Doubt is the fuel of those who never stop moving. The laughter of skeptics, the dismissive glances, the patronizing smirks. They mean nothing in the moment. They are simply placeholders for the regret that will come later. When the work is finished, when the results are undeniable, when the ones who once scoffed are left scrambling for explanations, for reasons, for something to hold on to as their fragile understanding of the world crumbles in the face of what you have become. People believe what they see, not what they hear. They doubt what they cannot yet touch. And this is why silence is the sharpest weapon. Let them assume you are idle. Let them believe you have given up. Let them weave their narratives, convince themselves that you were never capable, that you never had what it took. Their comfort is built on your failure, on their certainty that you will never rise. And then, when the time is right, obliterate that certainty. There's no need to correct them in the moment. No need to argue. No need to plead your case. The ones who truly build do not waste energy trying to convince those who have already made up their minds. They let time do the talking. They let the silence stretch until the weight of their results is too heavy to ignore. And when it comes, it does not arrive as an explanation, it arrives as a reckoning. Cognitive dissonance is a brutal thing. It strips away illusions, forces the mind into chaos. It is what happens when reality collides with false belief, when what was certain is suddenly shattered. And this is what happens to those who doubted you. They spent years believing you would fail. They convinced themselves that their dismissal was justified. They laughed at your absence, mistaking it for stagnation. But absence is not failure, silence is not surrender. It is strategy. By the time they realize what has happened, it is already too late. The work has been done. The foundation has been laid. The empire has been built. And all they are left with is the wreckage of their own mistaken assumptions. They try to rewrite the past, to convince themselves that they always knew, that they were never truly against you. But their earlier words betray them. Their doubt was loud. Now their silence is louder. This is the moment when the weight of your success crushes their illusions. When the ones who doubted scramble to align themselves with what they once mocked. When their pride fights against their reality, when their words fail, when their minds cannot reconcile what they thought with what they now see. It is not your job to ease their discomfort. It is not your responsibility to explain. Let them wrestle with their own contradictions. The world will always belong to those who move in silence. The loudest voices are rarely the most dangerous. The real architects of change, of success, of dominance do not announce their blueprints. They build while others speak. They work while others watch. They execute while others seek approval. And when they rise, they do not need to explain how it happened. The proof stands on its own. Let your success be a storm, one that arrives without warning, one that drowns out the noise of disbelief, one that forces the world to take notice without you having to say a single word. The ones who doubted will hear it in their own minds, feel it in the weight of their own shattered certainty. There is no need to rub it in, no need to remind them of what they once said. They will remember on their own, and that will be enough. There is a natural arrogance in those who believe themselves untouchable. The ones who assume their position is secure, who convince themselves that they have already won. They are the easiest to dismantle because their confidence blinds them. They stop looking for threats. They stop refining their skills. They grow comfortable thinking the landscape will always remain as it is. And that is the moment of opportunity, the moment where silence becomes the greatest advantage. Momentum works best when it is unseen. The greatest moves are made in shadows, beyond the reach of watchful eyes, beyond the interference of those who would seek to slow them. Those who broadcast every step, every victory, every inch of progress. These are the ones who make themselves targets before they are ready. They invite resistance before their position is secure. But the ones who build in secret, the ones who move without sound, they are the ones who strike when there is no time left to defend. There is a reason the most successful do not announce their next steps. They understand that power is most effective when it arrives unexpectedly. That by the time the world sees what has been built, it is already too late to stop it. Their advantage is not in how loudly they proclaim their progress, but in how deeply they embed themselves before anyone realizes what has happened. They do not seek permission, nor do they warn of what is to come. They simply arrive, unshaken, undeniable, unstoppable. Those who talk too much expose their weaknesses. They give others time to strategize, to interfere, to create obstacles where there were none before. Every word spoken about the future is an invitation for resistance, a beacon signaling to the competition where to focus their energy. But silence misdirects. It forces doubt, uncertainty, hesitation. It keeps opponents in the dark, second-guessing, never knowing whether they are ahead or already losing ground. To remain quiet is to maintain control. It is to dictate the pace of the game without revealing the rules. When competitors believe they are ahead, they slow down. They ease their grip, convinced that no real challenge exists. And in that moment, those who have been moving in silence, grinding in isolation, sharpening themselves in private, these are the ones who emerge, already beyond reach, already too far ahead for anyone to catch. This is how power shifts without warning. It does not come with an announcement. It does not seek validation. It builds where no one is looking, moves while others are distracted, cements itself while others waste time watching the wrong things. And when it is revealed, it is not met with resistance. It is met with disbelief. Because by the time the world realizes what has happened, the battle has already been won. Success is not about being seen early. It is about arriving when no one expected it, when no one can stop it, when no one can understand how it happened so quickly. That is the moment of power. That is the moment when silence becomes deafening, When every competitor who dismissed you realizes that the game was never being played at their pace, it was always yours. Words are the weapons of the powerless, the desperate, the ones who seek recognition before they have earned it. They stand atop their fragile pedestals, screaming for the world to acknowledge them, mistaking volume for dominance. But power does not need validation. Presence alone is enough. A lion does not roar to prove it is a lion. Its mere existence commands respect, demands space, and when it moves, when it strikes, it does not explain, it does not warn, it does not seek permission. The weak announce themselves in fear of being overlooked. They flood the air with their ambitions, their intentions, their empty declarations, hoping that noise alone will carve their place into history. But noise fades, words evaporate. And when the moment comes to prove their worth, they crumble beneath the weight of their own inadequacy. The world does not listen to promises. It only recognizes results. There is an unspoken truth, one that those who rise understand well. Greatness is never declared. It is revealed. It does not beg for attention. It does not call out for approval. It moves in silence, building, waiting, preparing for the moment when its presence will be undeniable. A lion does not announce its hunt. It does not proclaim its dominance. It simply acts, and in that action all who witness understand. To exist in silence is to cultivate fear in those who doubt. They grow uneasy, restless, uncertain. Their minds race to fill the void left by your absence, fabricating explanations, weaving narratives, whispering reassurances to themselves that you are not a threat. And yet deep inside they feel it. The shift, the movement, the weight of something beyond their control. Their fear is not in what is said. It is in what remains unsaid. Many seek validation too soon. They rush to prove their worth before the time is right, exposing themselves before their foundation is set. But those who understand the nature of power do not speak of what is coming. They do not waste energy on those who cannot see. They allow their presence to unfold naturally, without force, without explanation, without a single wasted breath. Because when the time arrives, there will be no debate. It is the nature of those who rule to be recognized without introduction. Their existence is a disruption, a force too undeniable to be ignored. They move without seeking approval, without waiting for the world to grant them space. They take what is theirs, not because they demanded it, but because it was always inevitable. Their silence is not weakness, it is strategy. Those who speak loudly do so to convince themselves they matter. They seek reassurance, mistaking noise for significance. But those who hold true power, those who have nothing to prove, walk without explanation. They do not beg to be seen. They do not cry out for recognition. They do not ask for respect. They assume it. And in doing so, it is given. Every empire ever built, every kingdom ever conquered, every legend ever written began with silence. The foundation is never laid in front of an audience. The greatest wars are not won with speeches. They are won with decisive action. A lion does not stand before the jungle and proclaim its reign. It does not debate its dominance. It does not seek to be understood. It simply is. And so the lesson is simple: speak only when there is nothing left to say. Move in silence, build in darkness, sharpen in solitude. Let the world believe you are absent, let them grow comfortable in their ignorance. Let them mock the quiet, there will be no need to tell them who you are, they will know. You have seen them. the ones who speak endlessly, drowning in their own declarations, suffocating in the noise they create. They raise their voices not to command, but to convince, to reassure themselves, to mask the absence of substance beneath an avalanche of empty words. The loudest in the room are often the most fragile, their volume nothing more than a desperate attempt to distract from the silence of their results. The ones who shape the world, the ones who dictate the course of history, do not waste their breath proving their worth. Their presence alone is enough, a force that does not need to be explained, a shadow that moves without warning, a storm that does not announce its arrival yet leaves devastation in its wake. The weak believe that if they speak loud enough, long enough, the world will mistake their noise for significance. They think that if they repeat their ambitions, their empty threats, their exaggerated claims, others will believe them. But belief is not given. It is earned. And when the time comes to deliver, when the world expects proof, their words turn to dust. Their noise evaporates, and all that remains is silence. Those who hold true power do not speak of their plans. They do not explain their methods. They do not waste their time ensuring the world knows what is coming. Because by the time the world understands, it is already too late. The work has been done. The foundation has been set. The results are undeniable. And those who doubted, those who spoke, those who wasted their energy in the realm of words, now they are forced to reckon with the reality they never saw coming. Silence unsettles those who rely on deception. It disrupts them. It leaves them uneasy, restless, unable to comprehend the absence of noise. They watch in confusion, waiting for a signal, for an announcement, for some indication of what is to come. And when nothing arrives, they assume nothing is happening. They grow comfortable. And that is their mistake. There is a reason the greatest threats are often unseen. A whisper is far more terrifying than a scream. A presence unnoticed is far more dangerous than one that seeks attention. The ones who operate in silence do not waste time proving themselves to those who will never matter. They do not argue with fools. They do not justify their movements. They simply move. And when their moment arrives, they are not met with resistance. They are met with submission. True dominance is not built on noise. It is built on certainty. A foundation that does not waver, that does not require approval, that does not need to be explained. The loudest ones, the ones who crave acknowledgement, who require an audience, will never understand this. They will mock the silence, mistake it for weakness, convince themselves that if they cannot see movement, there is no movement at all. And then when the silence finally speaks, it is not with words, it is with consequence. A legacy is not built on words. It is not secured through speeches, through declarations, through the illusion of power. A legacy is built through impact, through presence, through the kind of results that render words unnecessary. The ones who create true change do not tell the world what they are going to do. They simply do it. And when it is done, when the dust has settled, the world is left in shock, scrambling to understand how it happened without warning. Those who shout the loudest are the ones most afraid of being forgotten. They flood the air with their words, desperate to convince others and themselves that they are important. But words do not forge legacies. Words do not move mountains. Words do not instill fear in those who understand true dominance. It is action, cold and calculated, that dictates the order of the world. The ones who move in silence, who let their presence do the speaking, they are the ones who alter the course of fate. There is a reason why silence unsettles those who thrive on attention. They cannot comprehend a force that does not beg to be noticed. They assume that if they cannot see movement, there is none. They mistake patience for inaction, stillness for weakness, quiet for irrelevance. But when the storm arrives, when the ones they dismissed finally step forward, they realize far too late that their words held no weight, that all their noise was nothing more than wasted breath in the presence of something undeniable. A lion does not roar to announce its strength. It does not issue warnings before it strikes. It moves with confidence, secure in its power, unbothered by those who do not yet recognize the danger before them. While they waste their breath, you sharpen your blade. While they seek approval, you prepare for the inevitable. And when the time comes, when the moment is right, you do not have to announce your arrival. You do not have to explain yourself. You just have to flow with the will of the universe.